Hello, everyone. This is Tom Fox. Welcome to the Kerrville Weekly News for July 20, 2024. I'm going to take a solo turn this week, and we're going to begin with a couple of stories from the lead. The first one is entitled Affordability Pushes Downward on First-Time Home Buyers. A raft of vital economic surveys shows that Texas economic growth is straining people, including first-time home buyers. Long known for its affordability, the Texas housing market for first-time home buyers is not particularly friendly, with 3 cities in the top 100 nationally for the best place for home buyers. Those include McKinney, Denton, and Fort Worth. However, a large number, including Houston, Austin, Dallas, and San Antonio, are much lower. So it's not a good year to buy a home. Obviously, interest rates are very high, and the economic struggles are showing that first-time home buyers, particularly those coming to Texas, will not, or they will have some trouble. Next up is a story about a new exhibit coming to the Museum of Western Art, starting July 20. And Daryl Beecham, the executive director of the Museum for Western Art, has worked to bring together 2 of the stars of Western landscape painting into one show. The exhibit is gaining attention literally across the art world, called Two Perspectives, Scott Christensen and Kwang Ho. It's an exhibit that drew the interest of art publisher and journalist for a huge opening. It's really something to behold, and one journalist called it the top exhibit of the summer. So when you get something like that in Kerrville, it's definitely something you need to check out. And once again, it is from July 20 through September. It will be at the Museum of Western Art, and frankly, I can't wait to go. Our next story comes to us from the Kerrville Daily Times, which reports that the farmers market has now moved to downtown Kerrville. Each Saturday from 9 to 1, about 20 to 25 vendors set up booths in the parking lot at 741 Water Street, where Earl Garrett dead ends into the parking lot. There's now fresh food, coffee, pastries, sandwiches, all available. It was over at the mall, and this property, it's now in downtown, and many people are thoroughly pleased with the parking and then the circulation for the event. So if you haven't checked it out, please do so. And a little bit sad story, our local United Way office is going to close. So long to the big thermometer on the courthouse square, a familiar sight during the United Way's fundraising campaign. It's closing its operations in Kerrville on August 31st, citing financial challenges worsened by the pandemic and the inflation. The United Way said that they've seen a drop in payroll deductions during the pandemic, and those numbers never recovered. Next up, the Kerrville C3 swim team brought home 36 medals from their recent competition at the Texas Amateur Athletic Federation Region 3 swim meet, which was in New Braunfels. More than 300 swimmers competed to advance to the TAFF state meet in Brownsville later this month. So it was a great result from this great swim team, and congratulations to the winners, and good luck in the state finals in Brownsville. Probably, or at least one of the biggest news stories of the week has been the proposed budget for Kerr County. It is a $64.8 million proposed budget that County Judge Rob Kelly presented online this week. It's also available for review. It's a huge budget, and it will run a deficit for the county, but it seems like this is something that needs to be done going forward. Next up, the Hill Country Amateur Radio Club honored local member Fred Gilmore for 40 years of service in this genre. In his high school days, Fred Gilmore, and a friend decided to learn Morse code. Then they practiced by hooking up buzzers to their telegraph keys, and they would send each other messages. One day they discovered the buzzers generated a noise on an AM broadcast, and curious to see how far the static could be heard, they discovered it was like a transmitting antenna. And although they lived 4 blocks away, they found with enough wires they could send messages back and forth. Well, that was the start of a lifelong passion for Fred Gilmore, and he was honored by the club for his great work in this arena. So that's going to end our stories from the Kerrville Weekly News for the week ending July 20. I hope you will join us again next week, where we wrap up some of the top stories that have been in the news in Kerrville and Kerr County. Thanks so much for listening. This is Tom Fox. I hope you enjoyed this edition of the Kerrville Weekly News Roundup. This podcast is a production of the Texas Hill Country Podcast Network. If you've enjoyed this podcast, I hope you will subscribe, rate, and review this podcast wherever great podcasts are listened to. I hope you'll join Gilbert, Andrew, and myself next week, where we take a look at some of the top stories from Kerrville and the surrounding Hill Country area. Thanks so much for listening.